Hey folks, welcome to Tim's Shitty Hot Take. I don't normally post, reaction videos to like War Thunder news of the day. There's enough other, YouTubers out there doing that. But the news today is a bit of a big deal, so I kind of felt compelled to share some thoughts, and it's related to like a poll I shared earlier today. So bear with me. I'm gonna kind of be all over the place with this. But so the news by now, I'm sure you've seen, they're adding Rank VIII in the next patch, and also the A-6E was confirmed as a premium vehicle for the American Air Tree that you can pre-order. I have some thoughts about both. I'm gonna start off with the Rank VIII stuff. In short, I think that having some of the new aircraft that they're going to be putting in Rank 8 might not be indicating some of the same things as you might think it is. And I think it's going to present some problems. First of all, you may not have noticed this, but the cost of premium vehicles in War Thunder is based on what rank they're in. It is not based on their battle rating or, whatever else. And adding rank 8 allows more expensive premium vehicles to be added in, mainly to rank 7. And I'm going to talk about that a bit with the A-6E, because you might have noticed it's $70. And having rank 8 in, along with like more expensive premiums in rank 7, that's not great. The cost of premium vehicles in War Thunder is already pretty damn high. But that's a thought there. Now, it begs the natural question, is there going to be an increase in battle rating? We have no confirmation of that yet, either in any of the publicly available stuff, and I've seen no chatter from the devs or the Gaijin staff, over on the content creator Discord about it. In fact, over on the Discord right now, which normally is kind of a toxic waste dump, it's like the first time in a long time that everybody in the content creator community's kind of been in agreement, generally, on anything, is that, if you're going to go up to rank 8, you really got to increase the maximum BR. Like, that principle, everybody's pretty much in agreement on that. But the Gaijin staff have been saying nothing, and their silence is conspicuous, because normally they're pretty active participants in the conversation. When I say this, I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but I need to say this as a compliment to the Gaijin staff. And I've told them this directly, so this isn't me just sucking up. It's letting you guys know. I've been a part of the gaming community for a very long time. I'm an old guy, and I've been in gaming communities with access to devs many times over the years. I've been in modding communities that had, communications channeled directly to publishers and developers. I've submitted and contributed some mod work to games that found its way into like official updates and things like that. And I gotta say, the community managers that work for Gaijin, that work with the content creators and stuff and serve as our point of communication at the company, they do a really good job. They're active in participating in discussions and events and everything else. They're not jerks. They have a good sense of humor. They joke around and everything else. They're good folks. So the fact that they have said nothing about this particular discussion is noticed. And yeah, that's a thing. And so obviously, we all know, if we've been playing the game for more than a month, you realize that the BR compression is a problem, and everybody gets that. And I'm not going to dwell on it, but I want to point out a couple of things. Rank 8, it was pretty clear from that post today. It's going to be the home for more / most of the 4th generation jet fighters. And they haven't said anything about ground yet, so we'll see what happens there. But I want you to think about something for a minute. Let's say they don't increase the battle rating and it stays capped at 11.3. Can you imagine going up against an F-16, a MiG-29, or like a Gripen, flying a Nesher with 2 missiles, no countermeasures, no radar warning receiver? An F-104G with 2 missiles and it can't dogfight? The FA, a couple versions of the F5A that are in the game with 2 missiles and no radar, or even the F5C for that matter, or like the Mitsubishi F1 with 2 missiles, no countermeasures, or like the French F8 with 2 missiles, no radar warning receiver, no countermeasures. That's a special kind of pain and a special kind of futility. So I'm inclined to believe that the BR cap is going to go up. How much is anyone's guess? Maybe we will get lucky and they will increase it significantly. Maybe they'll bump it up to 11.7 and say, oh, we listened to community concerns. BR decompression is solved until the end of time. And, the problem really won't get too much better. I don't know. I mean, I want to be optimistic. We'll see. I feel like, regardless of how it turns out, that the addition of Rank 8 is going to be a significant turning point, in the direction of the game. The same way that the introduction of, like, the first supersonic jets was. If you listened to my hour-long rant about, like, the War Thunder 10th anniversary, you'll know what I'm talking about there. But so I think that that's going to be a really significant event. I want to be cautiously optimistic that they're going to increase the battle rating cap at least up to 12 or 12.3. I would, and I know this, not everyone's going to agree with me. That's totally okay. I would push it all the way to 14, and I would restructure the battle rating of, like, all of the aircraft above 6.0. That's just me. And I have a poll. I'm going to put a link down in the description. I have a poll I put up earlier today asking if a very simple question. Would you be willing to wait a little longer to get into a match if it meant that the BR cap was increased? I used 14 as an example, but, maybe it's 13, maybe it's even just 12. Would you be willing to wait a little longer to get into a match, an extra, like, minute or 3, if it meant that the matches are more fair? Or is it more important to you that you get into a match quickly, even if it's an unfair match? So I would strongly encourage you to go vote on that poll. I'm going to wait till, like, the weekend or whatever, once that's got maybe a couple thousand votes. And I'm going to send that off to Gaijin, just to kind of buttress the point that we're all making on the content creator Discord. Because, as I mentioned, this is the first time in a long time I've seen everybody on there generally in agreement on something. So I want to buttress that and present some more completely unscientific, poll stuff, just to show that, like, the regular players are also in agreement that the BR cap needs to go up and has needed to go up probably for quite a long time. Anyway, so there's, getting back on topic, there's another problem with the introduction of Rank 8, in that a couple of the countries do not have enough vehicles in Rank 7. Italy only has 1. Japan only has 2. So you might be thinking, why does that matter? It wouldn't be the first time that some of the tech trees are kind of empty near the top for, some of the countries. Like, Italy's lack of high-tiered aircraft has been a running gag for a while, right? Here's the thing. You may or may not have ever noticed this consciously, but before you unlock something in a new rank, you have to have already unlocked a certain number of vehicles in the previous rank. That's what stops you from researching one line of the tech tree in a straight line, vertical top to bottom, to get to a vehicle that you want. If you want the F-14, you cannot just focus all of the American naval fighters line in a straight line, straight down in order. You have to pick up some of the other vehicles in those ranks along the way before it'll let you research a vehicle in rank 5. You know, if you try, you'll get that little message when you hover your mouse over the plane or the tank saying you must research 4 vehicles in rank 3 before you can research this. Well, presuming that some of the other countries like actually get rank 7 vehicles, like what's it going to be? I mean, is Italy really just going to have one vehicle that just serves as the gateway to all of rank 8? Is Japan essentially going to have one vehicle that serves as the gateway to all of rank 8? I think that could be weird. And like Japan and Italy absolutely have 4th generation aircraft that could fit, you know, into a high rank 7 or rank 8, you know, depending on BRs and all that stuff. You know, Japan's got several. They've got the F-15J. They've got the Mitsubishi F2. That's an amazing plane. I'm really hopeful that we get that sooner rather than later. You know, Italy. I think they flew the Tornado. You know, they've got some of the Harrier stuff, I believe, off the top of my head. You know, there's definitely a lot of potential for some of the higher ranked aircraft to come into some of these trees, but it's gonna be a little sketch. You know, if like a player who's a Soviet main or an Israeli main needs to research 5 planes in rank 7 before they can research the new shiny thing that comes into rank 8. But like that one guy in the Italian tree is laughing his ass off because he only has to grind through 1 jet to get to rank 8. I mean, if that turns out to be the case, more power to you. I suppose you got to throw the Italian mains a bone eventually. You know, I mean, they've been on the short end of the stick for quite a while. But it's going to be weird if that turns out to be the thing. So I don't know. I really want to be optimistic about rank 8 coming into the game. But I can see a number of ways they can screw it up. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, so now I want to talk about the A-6E being introduced as a premium. First things first, $70. What? $70 strikes me as an insane price. For $70, you can buy a AAA game, the entire game. You know, you can go get. I don't know. I'm not into like some of the more modern first-person shooters. I usually prefer the older stuff. But like, I'm sure you can go get whatever the current Call of Duty game is for $70 or less. You know, I'm sure you can go get the latest FIFA sports game for $70. I'm sure that the latest Madden, in addition to like giving one of your internal organs to EA and signing over all of your privacy data from now until the end of time, I'm sure they'll only take $70, you know, for an entire finished game. And now it looks like the higher end premiums, starting with the A-6E, are going to be $70 in War Thunder. You know, I realize that free-to-play games make most of their money off of whales. But even whales run out of blubber. And I think that $70 for one vehicle is a hard sell. You know, I'm probably not going to buy that one myself. I don't know if it's something I can recommend for $70. I'll try to get a review of it out, presuming I can get access to it through the content creator program. I'll definitely give you guys some coverage of it. But I don't know if it's one that I'm going to get for myself at that price point. Like, if they dropped the price of the premium vehicles in half, like all of them, and tried to make money by selling in volume rather than relying on the whales, I don't know. I mean, I have a background in economics. I think that would probably work out for them. But what would I know? I don't work for a game company. Anyway, that said, the A-6E, I was really surprised when I saw that. Now, the A6 has been rumored for a long time. There were some files found, on the dev server for Fire and Ice that looked like they were cockpit instruments for the A6, stuff like that. I wasn't surprised to see the A6 Intruder. I was surprised to see the A6E. I expected one of the earlier versions of the plane to come first. And maybe we're going to see that. Maybe we're going to see like the A6A, off in the tech tree, or like the A6C or something like that, as the tech tree version. But normally, like, that's not the way they do it. Normally they have the good version of the plane in the tech tree, and the premium one, like, comes with some heavy caveats. Like if you look at the Saab Draken, the premium version of the Draken has caged seeker infrared missiles, whereas the tech tree one has the normal RB-24, I think the RB-24J, with the uncaged seeker. That's a big frickin' difference. And there are other examples for other premium aircraft throughout the trees. This is the first one that came to mind, but I had kind of expected, like, if they were going to do the A6, that we'd see like maybe the A6B or something introduced as a premium one, which was a very narrow like modification to the plane. That was, its weapon system was retooled around suppression of enemy air defenses. The SEED mission, it would go fire like anti-radiation missiles and stuff. Whereas we'd see like the A6A and the E in the tech tree. So I was really surprised to see the A6E, leaked or announced as the premium, the first premium there. The A6E itself, I'm excited for, because it's a very good plane, and I'm looking forward to at least trying it out. The A6E, of course, was the last major production version of the A6. It had all kinds of upgrades over the earlier versions, dramatically better compatibility with like guided missiles, and had a better radar system. It had more accurate like ballistics computers. It had the the tram pod, all that good stuff. It had I think it had compatibility with a couple other targeting pods as well. It's gonna really have some serious air to ground potential when the A6 comes into the game, regardless of like what form it's in. But the A6E specifically is like the final version. It's the one with all the upgrades. So whatever form that ends up taking, I'm cautiously gonna say that it's gonna be very strong in terms of its ground pounding. How it performs in air combat, they said it's gonna have AIM-9Ls, so higher tiered A-10. In terms of what you're dealing with there. But something to keep in mind, and this is something that not a lot of people realize. Based on some pilot interviews I've seen, the A6 Intruder was a relatively nimble aircraft with like competitive maneuverability when its wings weren't full of 6,000 pounds of frickin' bombs. So I don't know, maybe that could get interesting. Maybe we could see something similar to, the the AJ version of the Saab Viggen, where people just take it out with a couple of sidewinders and use it as a fighter, because it does have an incredibly good radar system. I can't imagine they're going to give it like one of the crappier versions of the radar from the earlier version of the plane. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm interested in how that turns out. I'm very surprised that it's going to be that version of the A6, but I'm not surprised that the A6 in general is going to be coming. I have some other predictions based on the announcement and going to rank 8 and how they very clearly said we're going to be getting a bunch of new 4th generation fighters in this next update. I have some predictions, but I'm going to save them for now. Keep an eye out for whenever they put up a dev server. I'll try to do what I've done in the past. I'll try to get on the dev server as quick as I can and give you guys a first impression video for all of the new stuff. And anyway, I'll stop rambling for now. Click on the link in the description. Go take my poll about whether or not you'd wait longer to get into matches that were more evenly matched. If they raised the BR and decompressed the battle ratings a bit. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching.